here. Get on, just push out a little bit. Give yourself a little bit of roam time.
You know what I noticed with this draft? It's very much Estar. So while we do talk about the dives in the early game, what I've noticed about Estar is they are such a good team fighting team here in the LPL. They, to me, remind me of RNG and how they were with Uzi and how they were with people like Let Me and Zatai. Estar are the rising stars of the LPL, sitting near the top of the table, looking to take another win against V5, or looking for their first.
The thing is, though, V5 has such a strong early game team fighting team. Think about all the CC, the intricacies of the bullet time, the cataclysm, the solar flare.
Yeah.
Hitting hard in these dragon fights at these Rift Heralds. And potentially this is how we start to see V5 snowball this game.
And that's how they wanted to start this Game 1 off, with an early invade towards the red side. A ward to spot out the transition through Raptors here at the brush. And while Estar have dropped their own ward in this top side, but you can see already, look at where Wei and Xiaoxi are. They know that there's vision in that brush. They're looking to go underneath and elude the pathing. Excuse me, it is Wink and Xiaoxi. The Rek'Sai is going towards the top side now from Wei due to the ward.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Wei wants to try and put this pathing down, because there is a case for, you know, moving from your top down towards the bottom side. Again, looking for that 2 to 3 minute gank timing when you hit that level 3 in the Rek'Sai.
He got a leash.
But what I like about this, well, actually, what I was going to say I like about this was Wink and Xiaoxi getting to lane first, starting to put that pressure down. If you get to that wave first, you can push it in super quickly, bounce it off around that level 3 mark, and open up the opportunity for this Rek'Sai to gank, particularly bot side.
Yeah.
Rek'Sai loves ganking bot side when they're on blue. Not going to be the case this time, though. They hold off, give the illusion that Rek'Sai started bot side. We'll have to see if V5 has sniffed it out.
Especially in the LPL, we know how easy it is to punish a flashless misfortune. So to get that summoner first for Wei would be an epic win here for E-Stars in this first game. We're getting a quick look at Xiaobai now. It is going to be the Unsealed Spellbook on the Ornn. But this is important pathing to take note of. AS6 looking for the invade to get behind Cryon.
Mole missed the chains crucially there, though. Was trying for that level 2, but will not be able to make it happen. Now, though, Wei,
He has a level.
Yeah, I was kind of looking if AS6 really wanted to go for this.
The level advantage means he backs away, and again, we talk about that early pathing that was used here by the Rek'Sai, but he's trying to come up behind AS6. Chains miss again, and Mole just backs away. Now, the Jarvan runs in. Wei's coming in at level 3. Instant flash with a response. Circles once, circles twice. And E-Stars trump over the early passes. The engage with the dredge line in the bottom lane. Now Y4 wants to take the fight as Wink kites away, but Calibrum into Severum with the ignite. It's the tick, but not the boom. But hello, Rek'Sai.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Wei says it's time, but hits CLX. He doesn't have flash to follow up, so it's going to force Y4 out of lane instead.
All coming up E-Stars in this early game, and when we said V5 had to be the ones that were taking control, that's a big old minion wave to be losing in the bottom side.
And it's not diving, but I tell you what, it's pretty damn close.
Are you sure?
Let's
Are you sure?
2v3. Well, now it kind of is. The flag and drag and the flash from CLX, but he gets dredge line back in, and Wink gets his first kill of the game while Cryon TP's in to the Jarvan with Gravitum, with the auto attack. Wei smacks for his second kill, and V5 have just been dumpstered within 4 minutes.
God, it's good to be back. I missed me
I
some
bet you did.
LPL. E-Star is showing exactly what we're talking about, but wait!
Here we go, out with the tunnel system. Ignite down in the auto. That will secure the kill. Big shutdown already onto Mole. And after that dumpstering, Mole brings V5 slightly back into this Game 1.
He does bring it back, but the problem is that they've actually been set so far behind in the jungle, in the AD carry role, that this is going to be an even further uphill battle for them. Level 2 still on this Jarvan is a camp behind Wei plus kill experience. This Jarvan is not going to be the factor we were hoping AS6 would be in the early game.
Double longsword for the Rek'Sai as well to make matters worse with the skirmish, or excuse me, with the stalking blade picked up here for Rek'Sai. Going towards top side now to look to influence another lane with Scuttle Crab available.
Yeah, we'll be able to pick up this Scuttle Crab. We'll be spot on the ward though, so at least they now have an understanding as to where Wei will be. But unfortunately, that wave in the top side is in a terrible spot.
Wink face checks this though, cleanses, but that's not going to do anything. The Gravitum to come down, but for V5, they really punished the mistake from Wink.
Yeah, this is a great call from AS6. When you've fallen this far behind, just go for ganks. You're not going to be able... It's a bit of a riskier play, but one that pays off in this time and gets a little bit of help down back for Y4.
And now, no summoners available for Wink. So what was a really rough start means that, yes, the kill goes to the Jarvan, but bottom lane has a shove when there's no AD carry here. It's a big minion wave that this time is going to be missed by Wink.
Yeah, we'll be able to pick up a good chunk of it, though. You can see that he has managed to make his way back. Couldn't quite push that in fast enough. Was hoping AS6 would stick around to help with that, but he's got to go try and pick up a bit of farm for himself in his own jungle.
All right, as Wink picks this up, let's take stock of the junglers, because this game has been really focused towards them in this early game. 10 CS lead still here for Wei, who's gone from top side, cleared down, ready for the bottom setup once again. But Scuttle Crab's been taken, so Wei's just lolling about, maybe looking for Mole mid.
I think what Wei is trying to do right now is... Oh, hang on, top side.
Yeah, I know you came back, and I know you saw the action yesterday, but I think we get a breather this time around.
We'll have to see, because he still has ultimate available, and there is AS6 on that top side, but looks like Ali is instead just trying to get a quick back down.
But you know what we talked about yesterday? Ornn is an assassin. People
True.
like to say that he's a tank, but that's just a cunning ruse. Ornn is an assassin. He has 6, and that means he has kill threat, as Azael showed us in a very well-made video.
And we've seen that boom clap as well that we saw yesterday underneath the turret. So Ali is going to be respecting that a little bit. I want to go back to, though, what is happening on this bottom side. You're going to see it on your screen now. Estar's taking control of this dragon, having that push in. They knew that AS6, because of the pathing, would have to be topside, so they know they're free to go for this. And that's just giving less objectives for V5 to try and fight over.
And a really good point raised yesterday by Munchables, another one of the LPL crew, is that Wink, or an Aphelios with Crescendum, does these objectives really, really quickly. All he has to do is stand next to it, and he auto-attacks so damn fast. So that's a quick early objective here for Estar, who is still snowballing off this early advantage with 1,000 gold lead and a mountain coming up next to hover around.
And you'd imagine with the way that Estars are playing this bottom side of the map, Xiaoxi should be able to get out onto the map. This is something Xiaoxi's been great at throughout the games that they've had, is moving out of bot lane, influencing mid, and moving up at about that 8-minute timer to influence the Rift Herald as well.
And that's why the Moby's rush coming through here from Xiaoxi. You'll expect to see it soon. Went back and picked up a consumable potion, but let's pause because Control Ward's going to spot out E-Stars. AS6 starting to get some deeper vision, but right now he's still that extra leg behind.
And it's so sad for V5, because you can see they've done their homework. Mobile.
Hang on, what? He's ulting, and he's in, but the flag and drag, great timing. Wei knows he's going to die. Can't take ASX with him, so that was almost greedy. I don't know, Dagda, what do you want to call it?
I mean, it worked out. If you're setting Mole behind a little bit more, I'm kind of happy with that. Mole, as we said, is a big carry for this team. 31% of the team's damage. Well, let's just knock a couple of percentages off this game by setting them behind.
Does mean Cryan gets a shove into mid lane as well. Look at Mole's summoners. He's taking Ignite here against the Azir for that kill pressure. So this full wave gonna be taken by the turret. Means a perfect back here for Cryan as well, who ends up going get the Mercury treads and also the amplifying tone for lane.
There was a potential for a quick Rift Herald there for V5, but unfortunately with the health bar AS6 had off of that dive, they're not able to try and commit to it. AS6 is going to back, and they won't be able to abuse the timing with Cryan basing as well. I mean, V5, they needed to get on the map early, and right now, they're sitting about 1,000 gold behind.
And now, remember, what you said in draft was they have to make the move. The pressure is on them, because E-Star's composition will continue to get worse and worse.
And they're doing it now. CLX has abandoned the bot side of the map. They want to get this Rift Herald and get the rotation first. And with Xiaoxi still sitting on this bottom lane, there's no way that E-Stars will be able to commit.
And you'll look at what V5 just picked up as well. Crucial back timing here with AS6, who has Cinderhulk now, where the LeBlanc also has Lost Chapter available, so a bit more extra damage and mana. And now that Y4's moved here, looks like the sacrificial bottom lane continues. So let's see what's more worthwhile here for V5 in the end.
Well, right now it's all in favor of E-Star. If you think about what happens with Rift Herald, you get 2 plates. Fantastic.
Yep.
If you look at what's happening bot side, they got more than 2.
They use TP though to try and stop the push. Now, bit more plate here from Wink, you're right. So gold with the BF Sword of Aphelios, but Wei and Xiaobai being in this top lane means AS6, are you ready to party? Double knock up, he doesn't even get to move.
I don't think he was ready to party.
I don't think he was ready to party whatsoever. Cinderhulk met nothing in that trade. When you have a really good scaling jungle item, you need to scale first.
Well, 4-2-1 for this Rek'Sai. Wei, we talked about how he loves to have the control of the early game on a strong jungler, and he's dictating the pace of this so well. AS6 doesn't know what to do.
You can see why the story about Estars is these bunch of rookies really making waves in the LPL for their first split. Now, people would know Wink, people would know Xiaoxi that we talked heavily about in Champion Select, but they wouldn't know Wei. And Wei is this jungler who came out of essentially nowhere. This is his first LPL split. And as a rookie jungler, he's up there with Meteor.
He's also the substitute jungler. He was the one behind Xiaolong Bao, the now RNG jungler. And this guy, he was a substitute. Look at what he's able to do. He's been controlling Estar's games start to finish. And this is where I love to see the LPL. So much talent in the rookies, but speaking of one rookie, AS6 wants to throw down this Rift Heart on the top side.
All the Forge God to clear the wave. Xiaobai wants to 1v3, gets knocked up into the wall. He goes, what a flash, but Mole coming in. Good timing here. V5 still get the kill after using everything in the kitchen sink.
And Zhao Bai is someone that has been really struggling to get used to playing weak side top lane. We see it there when he's trying to just clear the wave, ends up getting caught out. There's been a couple of instances of that, particularly when he plays Rumble, where he thinks he's got the equalizer, I can stay around a little bit longer, but ends up giving over more to the enemy team than Estar's really should.
Okay, Rift Herald finally going to come out here in the top lane. That means the shove continues, and they want to get this turret, but look bot here. Estars have 3 members against an ult on Alias with Flash. They get the wave up there, they look for the shove, and they take control of the jungle in the meantime.
And they'll be able to go over towards this mountain that's spawning in just a few seconds. The big thing, though, is if that Rift Herald does stay, as you can see with Y4 and CLX, they can push onto this tier 2 and potentially take it. So realistically, they need someone to get over here and help Xiao Bai.
Okay, well, he's back again. Do you want to do this dance one more time? At least the Herald has no health, so he defends for now. And a bit of extra wave clear will help too. So this time V5 will back away, still down 2,000 gold, but at least they're trading when they're at the deficit here. That's important. Some of the weaker teams, some of the worst teams, in the past you just see them lay down and die. V5 are still committing to this game 1.
They didn't have vision on the dragon there as well, so they didn't know that Estars had committed to the objective. We're afraid of them diving on top lane, which is why they backed away. And now with this reset, we've actually got multiple members of Estars in the mid lane, and no one here to defend it.
Yep, who's actually coming? We've got 3 members eventually making their way over here. It's Y4, CLX, and Mole, but yeah, you're right. Krine just going to get some more free plates for himself. And remember, still 10.4, so plates aren't back up to that 160. But still, that's a lot of gold going onto the Azir in this early game.
And as well, for the scaling composition. This is what we got to keep our eyes on. Every time Estars pick up a win or go even, it's a victory for them in their books. And that's a big issue for V5, who need to find somehow to take this game back.
And remember as well, with the scaling on top of that, you have an Ornn. And Ornn always amplifies that gold. It's 2,000 now, but when we get that level 12, level 13 Ornn with the upgraded items, and then start spreading that across the map, then it gets even worse.
You can see Mole trying to take this game off into a side lane where maybe this LeBlanc can find a 1v1 or a flank to get a kill, but unfortunately this is not going to be the case with all the TPs that are on Estar. They're perfectly happy to match this for the moment until they've hit their stride, until they hit those big ticket items, and then fight for the Baron.
Well, one of those items comes through in the Nash's Tooth here for Krine in the mid lane. AS6, you devil, looking for someone to pick out of the mix. Wink also has his first item there as well in the Essence Reaver, so not going to be the IE on the Aphelios, going back to the standard item set.
And speaking of first items, not the biggest fan of Mo's one. Has gone for the GLP, and
seen that a lot
it can
recently,
work
haven't we?
okay if you're ahead. I mean, it does have that little bit of extra burst damage. You get a cheaper item off the bat. But when you're falling behind like this and you really just need to burst out the likes of Wink in the later stages of the game, I'm not as fond of it in this case.
I will say, though, recently we've seen it so much as a first item purchase for our mages. That little bit of extra CC, the slow that comes through, of course, is what I'm referring to. But dredge line here from Xiaoxi. Now, that's going to be the depth charge on top. Wink gets the Gravitum in and over the wall. Flashes CLX before he can get caught up. That's another Summoner Burnt for free from Estar.
And what Estars I thought they were going to try and do right now is have Crime pushing a side lane, have your your Ornn in the top side of the map to try and push this in and all collapse on this mid lane. But instead, right now, they just want Wei to come up here and try and get this outer turret on the top side down.
Really punishing multiple lanes. Mid lane, the ult has to be used by Y4 just to clear the way, but you can see the Azir stays while the rest of Estar make that transition to the top side. They're not going to get the turret, but V5 are. So at the very least, V5 trading up in a certain situation looks pretty good.
And this is why I don't like that they've Cryin and Wink in the same lane.
Yep.
You're losing out on experience sharing, on gold sharing, and on your pressure across the map. Now, it looks like they're going to hover around here anyway because the Rift Herald is about to spawn, but they could have at least put pressure to clear up bot side before looking towards this.
Yeah, Xiaobai eventually going to match it though now though. He's got level 11 and also the teleport available with Exhaust. Got to keep my eyes on the spellbook on. Wave going to finally crash in here once again. Rift Herald started by E-Stars.
It's interesting to see though from these stars. They are playing a very different style of game, yet still playing the same playbook. Because we'd think, okay, they're going to look and scale, they're not really going to fight too much early, but with the pressure that Wave was able to get on the map, they've realized, hey, look, we can go for these aggressive plays. We can start our snowball early. And when they're the ones that are supposed to be on the back foot, they've got two Rift Herald. Oh, well, they got the Rift Herald. They got one of them. And they've got two Dragons there themselves as well.
It's confidence, isn't it? It's the way this team's been playing since they came into the league, where as a five-man duo, this iteration hasn't changed at all.
No, and I love it. Like, they are playing so well together. I mean, so many of these guys came from the likes of Royal Club, but honestly, I think they play kind of a similar style to Royal.
Yeah,
to
RNG.
RNG, not Orangey.
Orangey.
RNG, yes.
Colors that, yeah.
I'll get used to it. I'm still working.
But hey, look, it's a great point. It's like the influence of RNG as an organization has really impacted the three players that have come from it. Okay. Stretch line again. Now, CLX was in this exact same position, but he doesn't have flash this time around. Soul Flare available, but he gets knocked up, pulled all the way back in. But Ultimate comes through. Cataclysm there as the Empress fight does nothing. Flushed away from by the majority of Estar, but over the wall they start poking, and they poke hard. Flush away by Wink. He's out of the fight now as Alias has Death Realm Xiaobai, but the flush in from Mole, a crucial pick as V5 look for the re-engage, but Alias is doing all the hard work himself. He gets knocked up once again. The ult comes through, and Rek'Sai says, yummy. Mole out of the back line here, but Cryin burst down as well. E-Stars went head to toe on that one, and let me tell you, they couldn't even touch their damn toes.
Yeah, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and that's not the dance you want to be doing with V5 right now. They are still strong at this stage. We talked about the pressure that can come with the big ultimates on this team. The Essence Reaver completed for Y4, and when he's able to hit it across multiple members, they're going to shred through E-Stars. We're going to catch it in the replay in just a few minutes, but watch where Y4 sets up. How no one's able to touch him, whereas Wink is pretty much getting pressured the entire way through this. And as a result, V5 pick up the Dragon.
Which is still very, very big. And when the tempo is set on them, V5 step up quite large. So that gold lead starting to mean a little bit less at this point. Ocean picked up in what is an Ocean Rift. And if they can continue to look for these early fights, early skirmishes, for E-Stars, they might be getting ahead of themselves in this first 20 minutes.
They still need to be careful. They are ahead, but they're a scaling comp. So watch how this one sets up. They invest so much into taking down CLX, whereas Wink is already a quarter HP in the backline.
Yeah.
So when this massive bullet time comes across, everyone shreds through the health bars of E-Stars. They're running for the hills, and it's an easy dive onto the AD carry for E-Stars. After that, Azir's only got one item.
And then
he's not going to be a carry.
Look at Alpha Mole. Goes and takes down Wink in a very crucial pick. I also want to highlight there from E-Stars, they pulled the trigger on two ultimates, the Emperor's Divide and Call of the Forge God, when they did absolutely nothing. And so for V5, the confidence to go forward from there was exceptional.
And you can see that it was all wasted on AS6, who turned that stopwatch into a Gargoyle Stoneblade. This guy now, going to be nice and beefy, has the potential to be the engage tools, and tank a lot of what E-Stars would like to do. Jarvan doesn't do so hot when he's behind, but if you've got all this backup coming through from V5, he'll last long enough to make the difference.
Cataclysm's still a Cataclysm at the end of the day, right? Well, for Wei, let's check in where he's at. The jungler who got caught out there had to run to the back line. Black Cleaver, Warriors already picked up there on the Conqueror's Rek'Sai. So he's well on his way. We get a quick look at that gold on the left-hand side. And Wink and Wei are still up there, but Y4 and Mole climbing the rankings themselves. Solar Flare's going to come through, though, and we've got another fight. The Flash with the Solar Flare on top, but Wink gets out of the bullet time and the teleport in the middle. That's saying Big Daddy Orn's here, but Big Daddy Orn is a bit small at the moment. They retreat. Ultimate comes through from Wink on the back end of that fight, and V5 try to push another play.
Panic starting to come through from Estar. Throwing down that teleport, just like, oh god, we need to stop this because the Baron's going to be up. But now they found
AS6. He has 2 items, but uses none. Stoneplate still out there already, but the CC layering from E-Stars secures the jungler in front of Baron.
It's dangerous out there. You got to take a buddy. They didn't go with CLX, and now you've got E-Stars who are turning onto the Baron.
We don't even need to do Baron, but let's do it anyway. We've got the 4 versus 5.
Crescendum Severum,
but
Azir.
Also, Misfortune's ult is not available in front of the pit.
But this is going to be a big one. Everyone's grouped up.
Mole wants to jump on in. Here comes Call the Forge God onto 1. They get the Baron, but now the fight from V5. Xiaobai right in front of the pit, but look at the knock up there. On does the dirty work and lives until Mole says no. Flash Ignite. Meanwhile, in the pit, Wink is in his death realm, but he kills himself. Over the wall and over again. Crying says, Mole, I'm coming to find ya. Wei as well on the hunt for the LeBlanc. No magic in this forest as AS6 now joins the fight after respawning onto Crying. The soldiers go out to zone. Mole looking for the back line. Rek'Sai out, Foley comes out, but it's onto the Ornn, onto the plated Jarvan, excuse me. E-Stars will continue forward, but Mole over the wall, low, and Prey seeking to death. Now Wink says it's 80 carry versus 80 carry. Gravity hurts, and so does Crying.
And so do the health bars of V5. They tried to contest the Baron. They tried to force them back, but E-Stars turn it back, pick it up, the big objective, find the team fight, and it's all gone wrong for V5.
I said it yesterday. Test your limits in the LPL. That's what the league's always been about, and E-Stars really tested their limits. Mole was a crucial element in that fight. We're going to have another look again, because as you said, they were all grouped up.
And this is where I was like, okay, maybe Mole can go in with a big double distortion, get some damage down. But because E-Stars had all positioned at the back of the fight, and as you pointed out, Hysterics, no bullet time available, they weren't able to deal the damage they would have liked, and E-Star are able to turn this fight. Still a bit shaky here. I was like, these are lasting quite a long time, particularly AS6, but in the end, E-Stars do have the damage to take down these men.
I mean, AS6 coming back up, I thought, okay, maybe the Jarvan can put in the work here with the stone plate, but just so much damage from Wink and Crying on the back line.
And watch the timer there. The bullet time is so close to being up and available. And the health bars on E-Stars, that could have been it. That could have been the turn. But V5 again find themselves behind in a game and no real way to get back in if that hook goes.
He tried to predict it, but at least he got one. I mean, Xiaoxi fishing for more compliments from the English casters, it seems like. This game, again, 20 kills, 22 minutes. And E-Star want to add more to the list as they get the mid lane turret.
And Chelsea's deserved these compliments, though. He's looked far stronger, far more controlled. That was the big thing we were worried about with his Leona was, hey-oh, let's fire this in and see who we land on. But this time, looking like he actually is in conjunction with the team. And E-Stars now want to take a fight from the mid.
Secret agent from the LMS, it seems. 007 here for Xiaoxi with the stone plate. And again, the flash forward. This time he gets CLX, but he also has stone plate, uses it early. Deathgrass pulls him back in, but here comes Call of the Forge God onto the back line of Y4. Infernum in the ulti as well. And CLX getting poked down with Comet, but he's forced out for now. E-Stars just don't want to stop.
Wink has got to play these fights so carefully. You can see him trying to move around where Mole is positioned. And Mole keeping him at bay means that they actually can't finish off a lot of these low health targets. But with everyone being forced back, Dragon will go to E-Stars.
Yep, third one here, one away from Soul after Wei picks this up, and there's absolutely no contest. Control has been shut out from V5 towards his bottom side, and what was a good recovery after that atrocious early game, or rather the big early game from E-Star, is now once again back to square one for E-Stars.
And it's heartbreaking for V5. Every time I look at this team, you can see a semblance of maybe we can form something here, maybe we can put it together. I mean, Y4 stepping up over the last few series they had. Mole has been the consistent player for this team. But when it comes to these games, where it comes to these clutch scenarios, the decision always seems to be wrong for V5.
I will say there's been an amount of improvement in V5, because once they get shut out, normally they stay shut out. That ability to trade across the map is a compliment I will add ever so lightly.
It's a it's at least a little bit that we can give to these guys. I want to see more from them. I don't want to see them down here with not a single, not even a series win, not a game
Someone's going to be here though, Dagda, and now plays the LPL
Can everyone
standings.
just get a first place?
Yeah.
You know, get a participation
Not
medal
everyone
to
can
everyone.
win. Hey,
No?
I'm watching Assassination Classroom right now, and Class E is going to be down there because classes A to D got to succeed. 10% has to fail so that the 90% can succeed.
It's a little bit sad.
Well, it's a really good anime. Bit of a weep. Oh, Mole
Who would
looking.
have guessed it?
No one, of course. A bit of fishing there from Mole looking for Wink, but at this point he has the Molten Edge plus the other 2 items on that list right there. Rabadon's almost complete here for the Azir as well, and a BF Sword in the inventory of the Rek'Sai, which means we're going to see Wei with the GA pretty damn soon. You can see the damage on turrets from Crine right here is pretty big. They're so far ahead, and they're taking more objectives.
And how do you try and get control back if you're V5 for Baron that's about to spawn? Well, actually, I was going to say, I would have liked to see Estar's put a few wards down in this jungle before they backed away, but still should be able to push in pretty effectively, take some of these fights as well, because realistically, if V5 try and come into this jungle, into the 5-man stack of Estars, it's a lot more difficult for Mole to try and come in over a wall. They've got the great setup with the Emperor's Divide for Crine, a lot of safety for Wink.
Yep.
So Estars now should be able to push in, keep control for this Baron, and take it pretty safe.
Especially after that reset, notice Crine went back and picked up the Rabadons right then, as well as a GA here for Wei. So at this point, you say, okay, Rek'Sai's ability to dive has gotten worse. And 2 minutes 30 until that Ocean Dragon. Baron spawning in 15 seconds as well. Estar back on the map, grouping as a 5-man unit as you see Crine walking up in the river.
You can also tell, looking at this, that V5, in particular Y4, realize they've got to burst. They are all in on this. Not even going for an attack speed item. He's just looking for the damage off the bullet time to try and kick people out of this jungle as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and maybe with that extra life steal from the Vampiric Scepter, he can survive a bit longer in these fights, but wave to be cleared here, Baron to spawn, Mole to poke, and Shoutbite says, come at me. Dredgeline will land here, the fight begins, the Moonlight Vigil onto one. Alias is in a bouncing castle as Estar deflates the rest of the situation onto the dive of Mole. He's now dead as well. The knock-up, the Emperor's Divide, divides down V5, and Estars make a statement as the newest team in the LPL.
There's no more room for V5 in the LPL. Estar are the new kids on the block. They're booting out the old, and they're gonna boot V5 out of this game.
This Game 1 has been a masterclass from Estars. They channel their energy now into the first Nexus turret, and CLX, you know he was going to die there. First one down, second one follows suit, and Estars continue their success story here in Game 1 against V5.